Alrighty, so we are sitting here with Margaret Josephs, fashion designer, entrepreneur, television personality, author. I mean, the list just goes on. We are so honored to have you here, chatting with us. So, how are you doing today?
Oh, great, John Tara. Thank you for that beautiful introduction. And I just want to say, I'm so excited to be on the cover of New You magazine.
So, when you first signed on to be a part of the Real Housewives of New Jersey, were you worried how the details of your private life, would be thrust into the national spotlight?
Well, of course, with Housewives, there's never any secrets. So I was a little bit concerned, but my life has always been an open book. And I had so many great stories to share that are women empowering, and women, carry a lot of shame and don't always feel comfortable telling their stories. So I felt like I gave a lot of voice to women that didn't have a voice. So I felt comfortable going on Housewives of New Jersey to give women that voice.
Of course. And do you think there are any misconceptions viewers get wrong about you?
I do feel there's a lot of misconceptions because I'm brutally honest. So I think people think I'm much tougher than I am. And they don't get to see certain parts of my life of me being a mom because I keep my children out of the spotlight. Though they are much older, they choose to be private people. So no one gets to see that side of me. So I think that doesn't always get to see the soft side of Marge of being a mom and nurturing that way. So yeah, I think those are the misconceptions.
Would you say that you're more of a sensitive person or
I am sensitive and I'm very empathetic, but I'm also tough to the fact is I like people to be self-aware and take care of themselves. And, I'm very therapeutic. And when people don't want to move on and help themselves, it's very hard for me to help them. I'm always like, help me help you. So yes.
so you're like a very confident woman. Have you always been comfortable in your own skin?
I think I have always been comfortable in my own skin. Being raised by a single mom who was also always comfortable in her own skin, we always walked to the beat of our own drum. It wasn't very common to be a single mom in the 70s and growing up that way. I never knew it was very different. I didn't know anything else. But my mother was always not a dream squasher. She always like empowered everything I did. Whatever crazy harebrained idea I had, she was always like, you could do it, you could do this. And I saw her be a real hustler and work very hard. So I think that's what made the difference to give me the confidence to be whoever I wanted to be.
And you said one word, you saw your mom hustling. She was
Yes.
a hustler. And
Yes.
it definitely rubbed off on you. You've created several brands such as Macbeth Collection, Margaret Josephs, and Candy Couture. Now, can you walk us through the inspiration behind each of your brands?
Yes, I always was a designer. I went to FIT and I was always into clothing as a little girl. Even when I played with my Barbies, it was about getting them dressed. After I got them dressed, I was like, oh, I don't need to do it anymore. So when I started Macbeth Collection, I started at my kitchen table, and it was after I had my son, and I was like, oh, there's no fun storage. So I literally was designing prints and decoupaging them onto buckets. So I was always taking something utilitarian and making it fashionable. So that's really where I started my brand. I was always about prints and pattern and designing and taking fashion into the home accessory world. And that's what started Macbeth Collection. And I always wanted something preppy, fun, and colorful, but affordable to everyone. So that's how I really branched out into licensing as well. Margaret Josephs was a little more upscale version of that. That was more my apparel and things that I could wear that was fun, packable, things to make memories in, that standout statement pieces. And then Candy Couture evolved from that because that really is the little sister to Margaret Josephs in the Macbeth Collection. The really fun, affordable, sparkly beauty accessories. We sell that into Walmart, and that everybody could really love, afford, and buy tons of.
Wow. I love how you turned like your passion into a paycheck, but also noticing a void and turning that into a lucrative business as well. So it's a
Yes.
lot of business lessons in there.
Yes, there's a lot of lessons in there. And listen, there's no overnight successes. It was years of hard work, a lot of growth, a lot of, setbacks, a lot of mistakes along the way. But I always say, I never looked at anything as a failure. Everything was a learning lesson. And, it took a long time to grow the business, but I loved it. I loved everything I did. I loved being creative, and it's been a great ride.
Well, look, thank you for saying that it was not an overnight success and even speaking to some of the lessons that you learned, because people, I think, sometimes misconceptions, as we already talked about
Yes, yes.
that. They see you on television and they're like, oh, yeah, it just happened for her. And you're like, no, I put in some work and some years.
Yes, yes. Nothing comes easy. Nothing amazing goes without risk, and there's no reward without risk and hard work. And I think people think when they see you on TV, that it's this glamorous life, and everything comes so great, and they see you in hair and makeup and you're going on these great trips, and that's not the way it is. This is all come from hard work and years of hustling. And I've been on my hands and knees setting up booths myself, and overnight flights, and crushed up in coaching, and my girls working 24-hour shifts. I mean, this has really been blood, sweat, and tears, and I think people don't realize that.
Right. Yeah. They don't see the behind the scenes.
No, no, no.
And so, what would you say keeps your creative spark alive?
I always say my creative spark. It's very funny. I say everything inspires me. I always am taking pictures of everything wherever I go. Travel really inspires me. Something about years ago, I always feel like I'm stuck in like 1960 and 1970 from my childhood. So many things from 1960 and 1970. So older films. The old disco era inspires me. Timeless things that never go out of style inspire me. But really, really travel inspires me.
So, when you say travel, do you have like a favorite destination? Um,
Yes, the Italian Riviera. That's there's something very special there, and I just fell in love, and everything about it was just so beautiful. The culture, the people, the surroundings. There is just something about the Italian style. And then, of course, with my first husband, we traveled, and Joe is Italian, and we love to go to Italy, and it's just everything about it's so inspirational.
yes. Look, I'm picturing it now.
Yes, yes. It's just there's something about Italy. My favorite designers are also from Italy. Gucci's Italian, Pucci's Italian. What was I going to say? Versace. It's just everything about Italy is just there's just something about there's passion in their food. There's passion in their design sense. The country itself is beautiful. It's just there's something about it that's very inspiring. But definitely the Italian Riviera.
Love it. And, burnout is very real and
Yes.
sometimes hard to avoid, especially with so many moving parts in your day to day. So, how do you personally find balance in your life when you don't have the option sometimes to press pause?
Hmm. I find balance in my life. There's two things that I do to find balance, because sometimes I'm on 24 hours running around like crazy.
Mhm.
To unwind, I will go really just go take a walk. I have to always go take a long walk. I'm always very concerned about how many steps I'm getting in, because I feel like that clears me mentally. I don't care if it's 2 degrees out or 100 degrees out. I have to get out of the house, be one with nature, go outside, not have my phone, and just really take a very long walk. So that's very important to me. The other thing is to really shut my phone off. Don't take any calls. Don't go on social media, and just sit with my husband, eat Chinese food in front of the TV on our sofa, and binge watch any show we want to watch. But it's like there's something about eating in front of the TV. A nice big, a great bowl of wonton soup and shrimp fried rice for me, in front of the TV set. That's what I do to like just clear my head. So that's what I do to find balance. That's what I do.
So, I love like the small moments and creating
It
memories.
is.
Like,
It
yes.
is. That's what it is. It's taking those little bits of time just for yourself and disconnecting from the rest of the world. And that's what I really make a conscious effort to do, because there's so much noise when you're busy working, designing, filming, that you have to have self-care for yourself. And that's what I do. Spending time, with the people I love, be it my kids, my mother, my husband, but just with no one else around in our home, and then going out, being one with nature, taking a walk, seeing our surroundings. I love walking around our neighborhood, walking the dog. Just the simple things are so important to me.
So aside from the external habits to help keep yourself looking good, what are some internal personal practices that help you look and feel good from the inside out?
I mean, the internal personal practices are just, again, what I do is before I go to bed every night. I know this sounds absolutely crazy. I do say a little prayer every night before I go to bed. Some internal practices that I do to take care of my mental health, and I do like a little gratitude checklist of what I'm grateful for, because life is complicated and you can get down very easily if things don't go right. So I always say what I'm grateful for. And I always feel very blessed because there are so many good things, and especially with the state of the world. Things are so crazy. So I always make a mental checklist on the inside and say what I am grateful for, to keep myself going on the inside. And also just really just taking the time for myself and my family, and to disconnect from everybody else and really focus on what's important, on my internal being. And of course, go to therapy. which is very important.
Yeah, very important. Look, I'm counting down to my next therapy session.
I mean, who doesn't love therapy?
Listen, if you don't, I don't know what's wrong.
I know.
That's so fun. You talked about a gratitude journal, and I just started doing a gratitude journal. And actually, today I was grateful for what I consider my borrowed features, in terms of like my senses, being able to, my eyesight, being able to hear, because I feel like
Oh,
that's
so that's
yeah, that all can be taken away from you. So
no, I know. You're absolutely right. And I'm always so grateful for, I always say, the people in my life. I have such an amazing team of women that I work with. I could literally start crying. I'm so blessed because I could not be anything without my team. And I always say that. And I always say to Joe, we are so blessed with the people we have around us, because I've had people around me who aren't so great. And so that's what even makes me see more the women that I surround myself with. I'm just so blessed. And I always say that every night before I go to bed. I say, Joe, how lucky are we? Granted, I don't have my dream closet yet. I scream at him about that, and that's petty nonsense. But the people in our life are so important to us, and I'm very grateful for that.
yeah, well, the dream closet is coming,
Oh,
and
yeah. Oh, believe me, the construction in my house, the downstairs is done. Now we're on the second level, and I'm like, snap it together. But that's
yeah.
personal. That's nothing.
But look, I'm glad you're acknowledging and recognizing your tribe and how important
Yes,
they play in your
yes,
day-to-day life.
yes. And that I'm always grateful for.
Yes. And you mentioned you do this before you go to bed, so kind of like a bedtime routine. So what do your
Yes.
mornings look like? If they differ from day to day, can you describe your ideal morning?
My ideal, because my mornings are very fine. My ideal morning is sleep until 11 o'clock, which doesn't really happen anymore at my age. But my ideal morning would be, sleeping in late, getting up with Joe, and we do this a lot. Don't sleep as late. We get up, we have coffee every morning. Of course, I would be having an everything bagel with some fattening cream cheese, but most mornings we do have coffee together. We get up, have breakfast, and this is my normal morning routine, that we have coffee together. My team comes in every morning. I'm still in my pajamas. I really don't shower every day till like 11 a.m. I do everything, my calls and emails in the morning, and then I shower. But my ideal morning, truthfully, is to I mean, I'm going to be graphic here. My ideal morning is to have a fabulous breakfast, coffee, do that, and then go back to bed and have sex. That's my ideal morning. That's my ideal morning. That's my ideal morning. I mean, that's good for the skin. Then shower and start my day.
And then go about your day.
And then go about my day. What's better for your skin than sex?
Exactly. Releasing happy hormones,
But of course, I have to have my coffee first. I have to wake up.
Well, I want to talk about Joe just for a second,
Yes.
because you've mentioned him so much, your partner, he's on television.
Yes.
So how did you know, or what was it about Joe that sort of attracted you to him, or you knew like, this is the one, this is my person?
I'll tell you what it is about Joe. As masculine and as manly he is, he's a very soft side as well. He's very nurturing and loving. And that's a very unique combination, because it was always very important to me to be with a man that's very capable, and that makes you feel safe, but also has that soft side. So when you look at Joe, he looks like a little tough guy. He has a mustache, a little goatee. He rides a motorcycle. He doesn't come across as that polished, but he is. He's so well spoken. He's confident. He's comfortable in his own skin. He fits into whatever crowd he's in. But he is the man behind me. He doesn't need to outshine me. He's not insecure, and he's very, very nurturing. And I think that's what was important. And he's kind and he's gentle. And I never have to tell him to do the right thing because he always does the right thing. And he always amazes me and he makes me a better person. So there's just everything. I'm just very blessed.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I like to because when you talk about Joe, it's just like smile on your face. You can hear it in
Yeah,
your voice.
no, he's just so great. I wake up, that's what I always say. No matter, the world could be falling apart around us. We've had a lot of things happen and, great things and negative things, but I always know that he's the guy you want to be in a sinking ship with. I wake up in the morning with him and know everything's going to be okay.
Yeah. And we're going to switch gears for a little bit. New You is all about health. So can
Yes.
you share more into what your health and wellness routine consists of?
I am very concerned with health and wellness. I am constantly taking care of myself, trying to make sure my family's healthy, everybody's healthy. I think that was from instilled in me as a young child. I was a medical neurotic. I wanted to preserve myself since I was a little girl. So it's very important for me. I've given up eating a lot of dairy. I eat very minimal dairy. I exercise, be it taking the long walks, going on the Peloton. But after you're a woman of a certain age, you have to do other things. I take vitamins. I take a joint supplement for inflammation. I take Omega XL, which has really changed everything. I was always having shoulder pain, so taking a joint supplement as I've gotten older, which makes me feel amazing. It's for inflammation. I take peptide shots, which are unbelievable. I give them to myself, B12 shots, which I give to myself, any kind of vitamins that make me feel better. But also what has really improved my life, hormone replacement. A lot of women for years weren't doing hormone replacement. They were fearful of cancer. But after going through menopause, just the beginning of it, hot flashes, all different symptoms, brain fog, moodiness. I mean, literally 2 months into like menopause, I was like, this is not for me. There's no reason women have to suffer. So I immediately went, did my research and got pellets, literally hormone pellets, which has taken care of me. I felt so much better, no hot flashes, pep in my step. It improved my skin tone. So I really do a lot for my health and wellness, and constantly reevaluating how I feel and taking care of myself and making adjustments.
You mentioned menopause.
Mhm.
And so, is there any advice that you can give to women who have not yet experienced menopause, but possibly on their way that you wish that maybe you would have known?
Yes. I think don't feel bad about it. Every woman has to go through it, but you don't have to suffer. Um, People are very afraid. There's options for you. If you don't want to take hormone replacement, there's natural things you could do. But women always think this is something you have to go through. You have to suffer, that there's no options. And there are options. I mean, the hot flashes are, come out of nowhere and you're like, oh my God, no one tells you how bad it is. You're sweating in the middle of the night, then you're freezing. You, you know, you're not as lubricated as you used to be. There's other things that happen to you that people just are too shameful or embarrassed to discuss. Your skin gets drier. There's just, you don't sleep as well. There's other things, but hormone replacement is not a bad word. There's things we can do to improve our quality of life. I mean, you do get more emotional, you get weepy, your hormones are out of balance because all of a sudden it's shut off. Your hormones are shut off. So that's why I said I don't suffer well. And you can, and there are options for us, and it's just exploring what's right for you to feel better. And it's important to take care of ourselves. So if you're not good for yourself, you're not good for anybody else.
Oh,
And
absolutely. Right. And, what's one beauty rule that you swear by?
even as a young woman, I always thought, I always wear eyelashes, not eyelash extensions, but strip lashes, because I always say you look more awake, you have bright eyes, and it just changes everything. So way before I was on television. Um, Even in high school, I would put on fake eyelashes, which is so funny. But everyone said, Margaret, you look amazing in pictures. You look so much more lively than everybody else. You look great. I was like, oh, it's the fake eyelashes. So even if I don't have makeup on and I'm running out of the house, I throw on a strip lash. And I always look finished for whatever reason that is. So that's a product that I love. Another beauty thing that I do is I think women tend to always, they're just like, worried about this cream or that cream or whatever it is. It's like your skin really is good from the inside out. And they think a facelift, which I've had, is going to fix your skin. That doesn't fix your skin. It just fixes the underlying muscles. So I think skin is very important, and more makeup doesn't fix your skin. It's about taking care of your skin. So be it a laser treatment, or, you do have to drink a lot of water. So I think people underestimate taking care of your skin. And I think that's the most important thing.
You actually just reminded me when you said taking care of your skin. I'm like, oh, I need to make my facial appointment.
Yes. It's like taking care of your skin is what, is the foundation for your makeup. And I think women, think of just like piling on a ton of makeup and all of those things. I like the way I look without makeup much better now that I did, my face isn't sagging, but my skin quality was always good. I mean, excessive alcohol isn't good. That dries out your skin. People don't realize everything you do affects your skin. And that's really what shows your age.
I'm like, ooh, when you just said that. So do I need to scale back on the wine?
Well, a little wine is always good for someone. Right. But beauty product wise, I mean, the eyelashes I cannot live without. I mean, if I didn't have fake eyelashes on at all times, I mean, I can't tell you what I look
like. You look great. I can tell you what you look like. You look great.
You're so sweet.
And this is actually my last question, and we're going to go back to the show. If you could name a theme for this year's season, or for this season, what would it be?
Denial. Denial and drama.
Denial and drama. Oh, we're so excited. Any spoiler alerts that you can give to us?
Spoiler alerts. I'm in the center of it. I mean, it's not even a spoiler alert. It's already on. I am in the middle of it all, but I think I keep it real. Like my tagline says, if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to lose. And I am going to say this. I think it's very hard, even for the viewers sometimes, to see someone who can own their own story. I think strong women sometimes aren't as accepted because historically it's not common to see women own their own story, and there's shame involved. And when someone's brutally honest, it's shunned upon. So I always try and get the other ladies, just say the truth or whatever it is. And I think that's sometimes frowned upon. So, sometimes I'm not always well received, but I have to stay true to myself and be honest and upfront.
Right. But that also goes back to you being comfortable in your own skin.
Yes. And I think some people just need to learn to be comfortable in their own skin.
Right. That part. Exactly.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much. This was such a treat. It was such a joy and an honor to speak with you. And yes, we are excited for the remainder of the season to unfold.
Oh, thank you, Don Tara. Thank you so much. I loved speaking with you.
Thank you. You have a good one.
Thanks. You too.